Come on in the room. I appreciate all of my viewers, my supporters, my members, those of you that are contemplating a viewer donation pool. The CA is PEKA69. Again, that is PEKA69. Come on in the room. Let's talk about it. So, very interesting pulls I've been getting recently. Now, for those that are inquiring about their universe parents, now is the time for you to book that one-on-one reading. You need to do it right now, and it's a few reasons why it should be done now. And without going into detail, it's beneficial for you to do that now. Now, if you feel like right now is not the time, then I don't know what information you are getting. But this is being done because right now is the time. So I foresee in the future some coming out and speaking about my readings, okay, and how they impacted their lives if they feel confident enough to do so. So if you are one of the individuals that have gotten any type of reading from me out throughout the years and you want to elaborate on it, please do. Whether if you feel if it was good or bad, or if the time span was accurate, if it was a past reading, if it was a current reading, meaning at the time, did you feel like it resonated or did it resonate later on? Because what you'll all start to notice is if you are a descendant of an original, that energy has been coming out, regardless if you could pinpoint it or not. How you doing? Are you from Baltimore? Or do you have any ties to Baltimore? I'm talking about the person that commented in the chat. So what's going on? We have some onlookers. Some of you, when you attempt to press the like button or to comment, you may get catapulted out. That's not me doing that. I don't have that many hands. I'm using one to hold my phone and the other, I'm talking. You know how some people talk with their hands. Greetings, Victorious T. So we are all waiting to see who wants to contribute to this energy. Now, my members have been graciously doing it for the collective. However, if you have been personally impacted by any of my readings, it's time for you to put your energy in that viewer donated pool. Very important. Now, when it comes out how important it is, in the next few readings, you're going to understand why you were being nudged to do so. Now, I know that it is a few that have followed their instincts through and through, and I appreciate that. And it is because you chose to do it the way that you were being guided to do it is the reason why we've all made it thus far. Regardless of how you feel about what took place, it's a collective energy. So that talks about us all helping each other get to a higher height. So what you're going to start noticing is new energies coming out from the past. And when they're explained to you, you're going to understand how it resonates with you and why the information that you receive from me should not be shared with those that you feel will find it interesting in your environment. Now, if you're called to share it to your media platforms, then please do. If you're called to share it to people that you feel it resonates with that are not in your immediate environment, please do. But those that just want to see because you are a member, I advise against that. And it's because the energy around you is strategically placed around you for you to descend. Now, a lot of you have already bore witness to that. In the beginning, when the readings were coming out more frequent and they They weren't as pricey. I had so many people donating, and I had so many people getting readings. And the information that was coming out was hard to grasp because of the severity of what was taking place with these readings. These are some of the most popular readings. We're talking about 80,000 views and things of that sort. Is because it was being introduced in an area where it was needed. However, because it was accompanied with the twin flame journey and people that had severe askeneos on them, that meant that they weren't able to be receptive to the energy. So by the time I got to that intro where I was talking about let it go, if you wasn't letting it go, then it was a problem, bro. Bars. Not for me, but for everyone else that encountered you. So now, as Asako said, we are in the healing phases. That was a couple of months ago. Okay. That's fine with me. Um, you know, I'm not really in it for the financial aspect. The only reason why the finances is being highlighted is because I'm going through my own stuff. And so those of you that understand why I'm here, it's not just solely for readings. So once I got okay with it, okay, because I'm still struggling with it. Once I got okay with it, it explained to me more why my life has been like it has, and why I encounter so many type of different people, and why I'm so interested in so much different stuff. I've always been seen as someone that was different, and once I became okay with being different, I was knowingly on my journey of the left-hand path. Being okay with being an individual that does not follow the group think and follow what everybody else feels is right, or what everybody else feels help them. Sometimes you got to go the left-hand path to find who you truly are. And this is why we have so many, there's an era where those that are adults now didn't want their parents' businesses, and they didn't want to follow the path that their parents chose. They didn't want to follow the belief that their parents chose. And so those ones are the ones that tend to walk the left-hand path. And some you would consider very successful because they didn't follow that strict guideline of their parents. Go to college, get married, da 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 da. You know, for instance, when I worked at a beauty supply, I worked for Koreans, which I spoke about, and it was a mom and pop store. Mom and pop stores are very little stores, which this one was pretty big compared to the other ones that I frequented. But they were from Korea, and the man that I worked for, he had a very, very good paying career. Now, I'm going to refrain from saying the company that he worked for because it's still in function. However, he chose to walk the left-hand path for him. He didn't want to sit in the office. He wanted his own store. And he proceeded on that path, and that path brought them, his wife and his children, to America, California specifically. So, when you think about people like that could easily do what is easy for them, but they choose to do what they feel is right for them. That's a beautiful thing. And there you know that you are fulfilling your life purpose, and you're also clearing karmic debt, because everybody's going to go for the moolah. The same with my little career path that I had being a professional school bus driver. I did that for approximately 4 years. The whole spiel to get me to go the bus driver path and not the truck driver path was you'll always be employed. This is what the man, one of the instructors, told me. If you get this type of license, you'll always be employed. Fast forward, I got sick and I wasn't employed. So when people say things that are exact like that, and you're not thinking about the variables, all you're thinking about is, okay, this is going to be pretty good money. This is a booming field. You know, I'm in there. Prior to that, it was the medical field. I said, you know, this is one of those respected career paths, you know. Then I get in there, I pass all the classes. Then I realized that you got to be certified. So that means you got to go back into school and you got to do this. And if the school is not accredited, it's not transferable to a university or a college or blah, 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 blah. Y'all know the semantics. The things that you don't find out until you've got all your time, energy, and money invested too, because no one's going to inform you. You have to do the research. So I'm sure it's a lot of you that have decided that you was going to straighten up and fly right, and you were going to finally do what your parents said you needed to do, get married, get a career, get a job, settle down. You know, I don't like those two words together, settle down. I don't like those two words. But when you finally decide that you're going to do it the right way, the way that the world sees is right, you figure out that you get sick, you get fired. Somebody say you did something you didn't do. You mess around and realize you just missed it. What is it? Almost doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? If I would have been here at this time, I would have got this place. You know, if I wouldn't have did this, if I wouldn't have married this person, woulda, coulda, shoulda. All to figure out it was all divine timing and all the man upstairs plan. Because they want to have little sidebar conversations. It's really, there's a lot of joy happening in the spirit realm, specifically right now. Even if you're not having, you know, such a good day, the opportunity for it to get better is there. And so we're going to rest in that energy. For those of you that, you know, you can't tell that I'm not having that great of a day, because I'm not letting it get me down. Plus, the man upstairs has a lot to do with that. He decided today that I wouldn't be boggled down with someone else's energy. Oh, well, I appreciate you. So now that we're all on one accord, does anyone have any questions? For those that are members, okay, and you are somewhere else, like Canada, for instance, and you decide that you want a one-on-one, but the medium that I use is not conducive of what is happening in your area, those tiers 4, 5, and 6 are geared for personal readings. Those are readings that you're not going to ever see me put public, because those are personal readings. If you decide that you want to become a member of 4, 5, or 6, what happens is you get access to all the tiers below. So if you choose to look at someone else's reading, that's on you, but I advise against it, because it's an honor system, right? Now, some of you are aware that some people that have joined 4, 5, or 6, you were either in cahoots with, or you may be getting the nudge to watch it. That's a little bit different, okay? If you see a name and you say, hey, I know this person, you know, then that may be your calling to watch it and possibly address it later on. But if you are someone that says, I want 4, 5, or 6 because of the type of sessions it is, I can always put it to where it's still viewable, but not to the public. Okay? So keep that in mind. So anyone have any questions for me? I'm just waiting. I am, when I say I'm working on stuff, y'all, I'm working on several different things at one time. So in my most recent uploads, I'm moving around a lot. So you're going to hear background noise possibly, and then you might not. And that's because I'm moving around. So please bear with me. I don't mind it, but I hope that my viewers don't mind because they're used to quiet in the background. Because of the situation that I'm in, it's not necessarily quiet all the time. So that's just to address that. I do know that there's members and people that are not members that share all the time. And I believe that's why the crown is there. It has a crown and a number, you know. Again, regardless to how you feel about what you're viewing, you may feel it's hogwash. You may say, who does she think she is? Let me share this. And so me and whoever could laugh about it. And then later on, you realize that I'm talking about you and whoever, or you know what I'm saying? And that you have a past life with this person. There's little details that the ones that are skeptical of me in the beginning value towards the middle and the end, because a lot of people, whether or not if they choose to stay a member on the donation tier or not, some people know when it's time to let it go, that they don't need these type of readings anymore. They still remain members and they're off enjoying their life. And this is because those are the type of souls that do that for people. And they're not announcing it. They're not saying that I've been a member for 6 years, you know, and I don't watch anymore. The type of deal. They're not saying that. During the Paradigm Group Ascension, a lot of individuals wanted to know who my members were specifically because they felt like all of them were elect ones, or they were divine masculines, divine feminines. So this is why I'm like that when it comes down to my membership. Very protective, because these are already individuals that have been through a lot. They don't know why they have the relationships that they have with people. They're trying to figure it out. And at one point, that was me. And I had no one. I had no one saying, dot this I, cross this T, 2 + 2 = 4. I had no one. And so I became my own healer. And one of the things that I noticed was there was a whole bunch of men, women, males, and females that were like me, with similar situations or not, that were out having to windmill for their name and just kept getting scattered on. Y'all know what I'm talking about? And you just can't figure out why. Some of you, y'all realizing because someone is having a bad day at home or at work is the reason why. And maybe you stay to yourself. And they see that as a green light. Okay? So when I say I'm not a sociable person, y'all have to understand that this is my occupation. So when I come on here, I'm coming on to see about those that care about my well-being first and foremost, and to also gauge the temperature of the energy that I'm eventually going to pull or that I'm currently pulling. When you have no one to go to, this is another thing when I entered into the conscious community. It's several things that I don't like about the conscious community. However, when I entered into the conscious community, I said, well, who do I go to with this information? And then as I was coming out of it, I said, you know what? I'm somebody that don't think like the average person, even if they are conscious. Because for a while, I called the conscious community the unconscious community because I felt like they ascended so far and then they just stopped. To me, it was like, how you don't see this? Sort of like the P that ends with an X. How don't you see this? It's like a red light flashing with a warning. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you don't see this? but a lot of people don't. Hey, to all that have entered in, I appreciate you for saying I'm a beautiful soul. That's the best compliment that I've had thus far. Okay, no problem. It's okay to be an individual. You know, some people may feel like I, I, I call out the wig wearers and the false nails wearers and all of that. Y'all have to understand that I spent 20 plus years doing the same thing. It was weave and wigs. I got so good I made my own. And then I started selling to other people. So if you feel some kind of way about me talking about your $200 nails or your $500 wig, it's simply because you know it's time to let it go. I had someone say to me before, if I wanted to attract a different type of man, I talked about this in the live, that I need not wear jeggings. And I'm like, what? So I'm not supposed to wear something that fits. To me, I was much smaller then. But what it was she was intimidated by my figure. You know, I knew that, but I didn't. Voice it to her. This is also someone that I'm aware now attempted to put a hex on me. Not just me, my unborn child at that time. She walked up to me and said, your baby is going to have autism, and touched my stomach. It caught me by surprise, right in front of our supervisor. She surely did. And guess what? He ended up having autism. What happened with her after that? This is way before I knew who I was. Y'all would say only the man upstairs could do that. Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say she ain't right to this day. Okay? So they could do these things. That don't necessarily mean that they're getting away with it. Because sometimes it's life changing. So for those of you that know you have hexagons on you, those are the most severe ones. Because they follow you. They follow generations. They feel like it gains momentum, but what it does is the man upstairs creates obstacles for those that feel like they're going to be one. And this is what happened here, specifically with the information pertaining to Lions GATE coming out. Some of you will say where I'm at, it's been coming out, not to the masses. So now some of you can understand when I say something is being presented somewhere and it's not necessarily being seen somewhere else. Y'all will understand. But the same with the music. What was one? When I heard about King Von, I was like, who is this? The same with Nipsey Hussle. And he's right here in California. I didn't know who that was. So you can say either, how do you not know who Nipsey Hussle? Because I don't listen to his music, and if I've heard any of his music before, I didn't know it was him. Okay? Just because you believe that we are in the same location, don't mean that we're in the same location. Hint, hint. I'm talking about Nipsey Hussle. Well, we know that he's somewhere else, but because he is from California, so we believe, you all will assume that we're in the same location because I'm from California. Talk to me, I'll talk back. Y'all know where that came from? The hood. Talk to me, I'll talk back. You know what I'm saying? They be a little scur to talk to either. It is not gonna jump out the TV on you. Not yet. When I'm absent from the body, I'll be able to do that. just for ish and giggles. What y'all think? California love is right. Some of you, you're starting to say, I know why this is like this. So I'm not going to go into the details because y'all know how the man upstairs work. Y'all know how he work. It's a bunch. It's a bunch of angels that are not happy right now. When it comes down to the choices of the man upstairs. Now, in the same breath, they're happy because of what just took place, what just transpired spiritually. And so that's the reason why I came on. So I'm being guided to let it go. So that is it.